Welcome everybody back to Boost Motion, guys, and it is the first of the year. Much love, happy new year, happy 2024. It's been a minute, so guys, let's go. Let's jump into that video. Welcome everybody back to Boost in Motion, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Thank you. Welcome everybody back. Welcome everybody back to the channel. First thing, shout out to my whole Boost in Motion family. Thank you guys for rocking with me for so many years now. And if you're new to the Boost in Motion channel, I am Boost, and I used to make so much videos on Infiniti and content and helping you guys build your cars even outside of that. I have another channel called Boost in Foreigns, guys. Check the link below or check in the bio. That's when I actually put up foreign content or anything with my Mercedes because I graduated. But in this video today, I want to talk about it. Is it the right time? Is it a good time to buy an Infiniti Q50, Q60 with the VR30 in 2024? So guys, let's go. I want to jump into the video. I want to give you guys my honest opinion because I've been watching this community, been part of this community for over, wow, it's literally been a decade. That's insane. Yes, I had a 2015 Infiniti Q50, but I had a G37 before then, so I've always been an exception of this community since even then. And I can say that I'm one of the most qualified people to say that I've been in this community for about a decade. And I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion if you should buy a VR30 in 2024. So let's sit down, hang out with me. Hopefully, guys, this is a very informative video because I'm going to break it down just everything right off the head. Because when you know what you talk about, you just talk about it. So if you guys want to buy an Infiniti Q50 this year, I'm going to split it up in the first case. One, should you buy a brand new Infiniti Q50, even if they're making a 2024 version? I'm going to tell you guys honestly, no. Unless you are getting this car as a lease in 2023, 2024, and it's extremely cheap as a lease. Outside it, do not purchase a brand new Q50. This car is a decade old. You're paying almost $50,000 for a used vehicle. There are so much other vehicles on the market for that price, finance, that are not even Infinitis, that are other makes and models of high-end sports cars or any sports sedans out there that are cheaper and, I would hate to say it, more reliable. What I mean by that, though, let's move to number two. You should actually purchase and finance Infiniti Q50. Unfortunately, guys, you won't be able to get a new one. You may be the second or third owner, and you have to go on the previous ownership on how they maintain the car. Now, in my honest opinion, it's always still best to pick up this car pre-owned, maybe off lease, or as a second owner. Reason being is usually that person still, hate to say that if it's a lease, they might have beat on the car, but at least they probably maintain the car to a certain extent. Or you guys may not like this, purchase a high mileage one. And let me start with the first thing I said. If you actually want to purchase let's say as a second owner off lease one, you can definitely pick that as certified pre-owned. You can get a PPI. I really do recommend getting a PPI for this vehicle at this current moment. PPI is pretty much when you hire a third party to inspect the car. Don't trust Infiniti. Technically, I'm sorry, but you want to have a PPI done. They're going to go through all the different, they go through the electronics of the car. They're going to go through the mechanical. They're going to see if there's anything that is a wear and tear on them that's almost on its way out, like a ball joint, or even in my case, because I had a 2018 Infiniti Q50, a leaking driver's side turbo. So some of these things you can't pick up when you actually go to purchase these cars because you're going to drive it, everything works fine. My car had a leaking turbo for 5,000 miles and it did not affect the performance, and I launched that car over and over. You see what I'm trying to say? So get a PPI done. It may be under $1,000 or even cheaper, but it could save you thousands down the line. Now, the second thing I said was you could purchase a high mileage VR30. The reason why I'm saying purchase a high mileage VR30 is I'm the kind of guy that I'm not scared of high mileage, because to me it means that the car is more seasoned. Yes, there may be things that's more on its way out, but there's also things that might have been replaced already. For instance, in the VR30 community, if you're part of the Infiniti Q50 Q60 group on Facebook, over the last 3 years, even though it's a group of about 50,000 people, it is super common for these cars to have porous block issues or leaking turbo issues, or for whatever reason they're always running into some specific issues. Now, as a lot of people, I used to sit there and defend the VR30 community because I'm still continue to do so. Maintenance is key. Take care of, change your fluids, change your oils, let the car cool down or warm up properly, to cool down properly. But in my own experience of learning more and more about this community, Unfortunately, there's a couple of, I would say, in my opinion, it's not a fact. In my opinion, there's some design flaws with the VR30. Number one, the porous block issue. If you guys check any of my videos, porous block is pretty much saying that from factory, the motor was probably designed improper with a manufacturer defect, which thus the car starts to eat coolant, right? It like this. I'm assuming this is what actually happens because it seemed like I really can't find a teardown yet. No one decides to tear down these cars to find out the real issue. It's the B58 guys do, but not the VR30. I don't know why. Um, and my assumption is if you're eating coolant, you have a lifted head gasket. The head had lifted at some point, which thus means it's either a manufacturer defect or number two, in my honest opinion, from learning more and more about this car vehicle over time. Um, as much as we like the technology of how these turbos are designed for compact design, we have a very inferior wastegate system or waste management system for the turbos, which means that when you run a higher amount of boost, you have more exhaust gases that need to come out of that come out the valves and spool up the turbo. Most turbo power vehicles have like a tubular design or a specific design exhaust manifold. The VR30 has an integrated exhaust manifold where let's just think about it like this: you have three tubes all go into a square. Like just imagine that, just the square. This is the out. This is the exit, right? And you have the valve which is all pushed into a cavity, a square, and shooting out into the exhaust manifold of the turbo itself. So there's really no exhaust manifold or header for a VR30. And then you have a very small wastegate system that's supposed to control that. When you turn up the amount of boost, or let's say you're beating on the car and exhaust temperatures get hotter and hotter, this stuff affects very much the back pressure of the motor itself because with every stroke you still have more exhaust gas trying to get out. The more you keep trying to push that out, the more it keeps affecting the head itself. I don't want to get into the theoretics of it, but when you add more power, you add more boost, you need that exhaust to get out. And if there's a really, I would say, an instability in pressure or exhaust gas pressure, that could also end up lifting the head also. Also, in the case of raising the amount of boost pressure, that can lift the head also. But this has happened on stock cars too. This has happened on modified cars. And some people never had these issues at all because they made plenty of VR30s. With the new edition of the Nissan Z, I remember reading that there's a new part number for the block. So may not be dealing with that porous block issue anymore. I don't know. We don't know. But from what I read and what I could see with the VR30 Nissan Z turbos, they still very similar. And the exhaust wastegate, from what I read, is about the same size. It's not larger, at least when I read and saw. But I might have missed some information. So I don't think, in my opinion, once again, I could be proven wrong in the next 3 years that I'm not. Maybe the VR30 and the Nissan Z may run into the same issue down the line because it's such a new car. Maybe if there was a defect with the head gasket or the way the heads are designed, maybe they changed that up. Kind of like the Ford Focus or the Ford Fiesta when they came out with their motors, they didn't design the head gasket. The cylinders were very close together, and it was a little piece of head gasket that goes right through the middle, and that always ended up blowing right out. And then boom, you got to lift the head, and pretty much you had more issues. So I don't really know when it comes to the VR30 if it's necessary that, but we're still led by being that. Now, even though I spoke about this for at least the last 4 minutes, right? Why am I telling you guys this? Because you guys are buying a pre-owned VR30. And to me, yes, is it a ticking time bomb? I don't really necessarily think so. But I can say that because I've been one of the people in the VR30 community that's been around for quite a long time. I could say probably in my years of knowing this community, probably over, I would say 600 or 700 cars of people that I know that DM'd me, that asked me about an issue, and I'm talking about over the last 5 years. That's a lot of people. Some days it was like 3 or 4 people, and some weeks was nothing going on. Then I get a random DM or email. So it's, I would say 500 to 600 cars. But then I go on Facebook forums, and it's just every day there's always an issue. All right. Second thing, like I said, idea speaking about the turbos. In my honest opinion, I think when it comes to the VR30's turbos, I think everybody's actually getting it wrong. Once again, I'm just being theoretical. It's my opinion. I believe when people hear specific sounds coming from the VR30, it's not necessarily the turbos. At least from the information that have told me, I said have I know Infiniti Techs is supposed to do specific type of testing to see if the turbine wheel is pretty much like damaged, if there's in and out play, if there's a sideway play or whatever. And they never told me that. They would just tell me that they're gonna replace the turbos and it's under warranty. So there's really no diagnosis that's given, or at least information given to the owner. But from what I know, it always sit there and say, yeah, we found oil in the turbo inlet. You're gonna always find oil in the turbo inlet because the PCV system drains into the turbo inlet. So at high, if you're and it has an inferior PCV system, so you will get when it sucks, or it will get vaporized oil, right? Oil vapor would actually collect by the and pool up by the inlet of the turbo. This doesn't mean that the turbo is failing. No, it's just that at higher boost or higher suction, right, or vacuum, the the vaporized oil will cool and drip down collect right there. That's just the way that the system's designed. And I believe, in my opinion, Infiniti just sees this as replace the turbo, they're getting some money out of it. Or some cases, some people are out of warranty, so they're just telling them just replace the turbos anyway. It's kind of like when you go to a mechanic and they know that they can fix this one small thing before they keep going, but they said no, just replace the whole thing so you can start anew, where you end up spending more money. And I think a lot of people, because they have lack of knowledge for this platform, they end up getting screwed by that. So I think when it comes to the turbos, a lot of things were misdiagnosed. To me, a turbo has failed either one when there's external oil leak, like which my VR30 ended up happening in my 2018 Q50, or internal oil leak, which will come from the turbo seals themselves. This usually comes from either the car running an excessive amount of boost, or there's a boost leak in the system where the turbines are spinning above their optimal zone. A lot of heat and then turbo failure, right? So I think that's another thing that I want to let you guys know. Now, I will literally end it right there when it comes to reliability point, because I could speak on a couple other things like fuel pressure sensor, injectors. Listen, when you deal with direct injection vehicles, these things could fail over time. Even though the technology has gotten a lot better in the last decade, these things could fail, and I still take that as things fail. I have an AMG E63S. It's direct injection. One of those injectors could fail at 1.2. So it's not. I'm not saying VR30s are not. I would say immortal to an injector maybe failing. You know what I'm saying? And because it happens in other vehicles too. Even when it comes like the B58s, like they have really crappy spark plug design. Like the spark plugs you use, they really fail and they're pretty crappy too. So it's like there's gonna be quirks and issues between the two. But I would actually say when it comes to those two things, look really much into it. Now pricing. Now I want to break it down to pricing, and I made plenty of videos looking at the Infiniti Q50, Q60 market when it comes to VR30s in the last 2 years, because we had lower interest rates, a higher interest rate zone, and now the Fed has finally said that they're going to halt the rise of interest rates, which means now whatever the interest rates are right now, guys, if you do purchase a car, you can refinance with the best assumption in a 6 to 9 months, when interest rates, if they do choose to bring down interest rates, you can actually refi and actually pay a lot less interest on your car loan. Now, I would say in January right now, a lot of people are going to get taxes, so people are going to end up going to buy Infiniti Q50, Q60s pretty fast, and the market is pretty saturated with the VR30s, but I don't think there'll be much wiggle room anymore, because a lot of people always wanted these cars. So they're going to have the money to put the money down payment on. And I would say if they want to purchase a Infiniti Q50 right now, if they have good credit or decent credit, it may be in their best favor to do it. So do it now. They can wait a little later if they want to, but I don't think the prices are going to continue to go down that much from what I've been watching the last year alone. Infiniti Q50, Q60 prices have now returned to pre-pandemic levels. I still think that there's some more percentage of the older, let's say 2016 to 2019 vehicles that are going to get more cheaper over time. Reason being is because we finally, if during the pandemic, we never got to the cars never got to actually depreciate properly, have a normal depreciation time frame. So it took about 2 years, 2.5 years for the car to return to its pre-pandemic levels, which I've shown in plenty of my videos, where I remember the 2016, like Q50s. It was just a general consensus. And this does include VR, Red Sports 3.0 Ts or even 2.0 Ts at the time. It was just a rough estimate used by Car Gurus tracking, and I still believe that they were somewhere around or a little less, couple of percent less cheaper than it was before a couple of years ago. There still is, I would assume, just off the head, another 5 to 10% on where the cars may actually drop in the next, I would say, 6 to 9 months. I would say would be theoretically be fair enough. I would say 5 to 8%. I can't say 10 because 10 is still a big enough difference. But then when the car is only about $25,000, which I'll get into right now, um, a 10% drop that could bring it down to like 22, 2300. That's depending on what the dealers purchase from the dealers purchase from the dealer's auction, how much they may have paid. Then yeah. So finally, I want to leave it at pricing. Um, my estimate, I'm still gonna sit there and say 2016 mid 60, $70,000 VR30s, Q50s. Like I'm talking about bases should be in the high teens, mid teens, and mid teens if you have really high mileage. Like I'm serious. Like I mean mid teens like 16 or 15 to like 17 grand, right? If we talk about red sports, VR30s, fully loaded 2016s, those cars should be, and the mileage is like 60,000 miles. It should be somewhere between that 18 and like $25,000, all depending on mileage, right? But the thing is, as the car gets newer to the 2018 model, I've seen 2018 models go for that high teens once again in that low 20s for like a Lux or regular one, and for the red sports or 3.0 T sports, I've seen mid to low 20s also. You can push, I would say, close to like 28, 29,000 for a super low mileage, like let's say Red Sport 2018. But after that, once you start getting into the 19s, 20, 21s, honestly, you're really buying the same car. I mean, no disrespect to anyone's watching. You're really buying the same car after that point because it is the same car from 2018 to newer. I know it has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, a couple of other small incremental changes in just the interior, like very minute things that really don't matter. It's still the same car, same infotainment. So, um, I would still sit there and recommend purchasing if you don't care about the look of the car, get the 2016 to 2017. I just recommend that. You're buying the car, the same motor, the same everything. It's just that the bumpers and the taillights are different. I'm dead serious. Anything else you want to add, you can actually add from factory or purchase some other way to adapt it to that vehicle, right? Um, my estimate still is the 2018s because it's the newer body style because your 2018 also looks like a 2023 and you save tens, $20,000. You know, see what I'm saying? And whatever issues that you think you're trying to get away from, not saying that you can't run into it, you still have the same inferior block design and or turbo design. So I would still recommend purchasing a 2018 to 2020. I would recommend those models. And I think you shouldn't be spending any more than $30,000 on those vehicles. And if it's $30,000, it has to have super low mileage and more loaded than ever, to be honest with y'all. But if it's a 2018 in a Lux, it should be low 20s. I don't care. I don't. This all could be. You could also play with this when it comes to mileage. Go to Car Gurus, go to any website, and just compare the 3.0 Ts versus the Red Sports, or just see or compare the years. Like say a 2016 to 2018, and you find somewhere that number in the middle that makes the most sense because there's enough Q50s out there for you to actually choose the right one. You don't have to go and buy the one that's down the block that's 5 miles away. There is somebody out there where you could save $5,000 to $6,000 on it just because they might be a little bit farther away. You see what I'm saying? So all in all, RQ50 is still a good thing to buy in 2024. In this video, I was just telling you to do your due diligence, protect yourself. I did a video talking about extended warranties and what they actually cover when they don't cover. Um, I would also end by saying if it depends on the use you're getting this car for too. If you're getting this car to be a daily driver, you're not really doing anything too crazy to it, makes sense. But if you know you're getting this car to tune it, downpipe, and all that, it may be in your best interest to do the full PPI. Try to find one with the best price so that you're not paying a lot if you're financing or if you're purchasing it fully. Um, Try to buy the best parts and go to the best tuners. And also on top of that, be prepared. Be prepared by getting an extended warranty that covers the major parts of the car. Now, don't try to skimp on the extended warranty. Get the major parts. Turbochargers were being replaced. Motors, blocks being replaced. Look into that. And if there ever is an issue, take off all them goddamn performance parts, return the car back to stock, and let the extended warranty do their thing, and then go back to modding. All right. Now, I know this video will maybe shown to some people who aren't into modifying cars or into that type of stuff, but they really like Q50s. The Q50 is still, to me, it's still a good car. I enjoyed it. I had two of them, a 2015 and a 2018, and then I had a 2017 Q60 with the VR30 also. So I'm very much aware of these vehicles. Yes, are they outdated in 2024? Yes. Are they used to do in slideshows, people driving and racing? Yes. Are they for the average man, average woman out there? Yes. But do they get the job done? Yes. Absolutely. I think they still a really good bang for this buck in the teens to low 20s when it comes to newer age twin turbo all-wheel drive for vehicles out there. I know they're not B58s, I understand, but at least you got a choice of getting something that's more of a Japanese JDM car than having to go full foreign. All right. So guys, you can add me at Boost Motion on IG. Also check out my Boost in Foreigns channel, my Boost in Foreigns on Instagram. I'm trying to get that to grow up. I had a lot changing in my life, and I even ended up moving. This ain't my old place. If you guys been following me for a while, I've been moving around and doing a lot, man. But nonetheless, this year is going to be the year of me just worrying about me. All right. So outside of guys, you guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good night. I really appreciate you guys for always showing your support to your boy Boost. Much love. Please hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, comment below. I need to get the algorithms up. All right. Outside of that, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Do appreciate you guys. Love you guys very much. You can also check out the 2 links I posted for some of my other videos. Also, on top of that, if you want to purchase some Boost in Motion merch, definitely check the link that I posted also. And finally, if you've been watching all my videos and you enjoy them, please hit the link to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Thank you.